Oh yeah.
We got a whole lot of films to go
Yeah,
through.
let's get into it. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. I just thought it might be a good thing to mention before we jump into those. That I don't know if you considered any films, but the one film that I feel I should have put on the list, and I believe it came out in the '80s, was The Hidden with Kyle MacLachlan.
The Hidden. Okay, that one I haven't even heard of. That's interesting.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I think you're in for a treat. It's a really fun. It's not trying to be anything, too heady, too super thoughtful or anything. It's just a real fun thing. And that was, I believe, it was like right before Kyle started doing Twin Peaks. Okay, so these are the films that I think most people have seen, or enough people have seen to, qualify as good science fiction films. But I think a lot of people have seen these. So I'll just like go
Yeah.
through quick. The Cell, I was going with Pitch Black, Watchmen, Donnie Darko, I, Robot, which I was surprised I liked as much as I did. Signs, District 9, of course, AI, artificial intelligence, which, a lot of people were kind of so on it. I thought it
Right.
was tremendous.
Yeah. See, same. I loved it too. So
Yeah, I actually think it's, borderline masterpiece by Spielberg. I just thought it hit everything just right. Was a little bit long, but I didn't mind it. Yeah,
right.
I loved it. And then, then he does Minority Report and War of the Worlds, all in the 2000s. He was on a roll there, and of
Yeah.
course, Avatar. Okay, let's get into this one.
All right.
Have you seen this?
Rain
Rain
of Fire.
Fire.
No. Although
Ah,
I know my sister-in-law is a big fan of this movie. She was always trying to get me to watch it. And I was like, no, I'm good.
yeah, I know.
I don't know. It just didn't like, it seems like something I would like, but I think at that time, maybe it was the marketing or something. It just didn't, it looked really cheesy. And so I was kind of like, but it is on my list. I definitely want to check it out, especially after you mentioned it. So
I think I just like stumbled upon it, looking
yeah,
on Netflix or Amazon or something, and it was like, holy moly, Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey, and I've never heard of this film. What the hell is this? And yeah, I
right.
was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it's not, it's as much fantasy as science fiction, but it did. I think it portrayed a believable, post-apocalyptic world, scenario. So it definitely qualified as science
Is
fiction.
the premise like dragons come back, or what's the catalyst
It's
that kind
pretty
of
interesting. I don't want to tell you too
okay.
much about it. It's pretty interesting how they explain, where the dragons came from, and how did they,
It's like
take
some
over the
kind of
world. That's not really.
experiment, or is that where the science fiction element comes in, or
Yeah, a little bit. And again, the kind of society that you would have with some modern technology, but basically thrown back to the Stone Ages. Okay, this one, I
okay.
don't understand. A lot of people did not like this movie. The few that have seen it, and I can't for the life of me understand why. I thought it was pretty solid all the way around.
Really? See, I saw this in theaters because
Me
I
too.
was excited, and I don't know. I haven't seen it since then. So when did this come out? Like 2004. It was pretty early 2000s. But yeah, I haven't seen it since then. But I think at that time I was kind of so about it. I mean, the action was nice, but I didn't think it had the same impact as the first one, just for me. Like I liked that pitch black, like
Yeah.
more survival horror aspect of it, rather than this was a little bit more adventure, like Star Warsy in a way, but
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I can see where people might have been a little put off. The people that enjoyed Pitch Black, which I did too, quite a bit, and they just went epic scope on it. So I could see where that might turn some people off. It's like, hey, it's Vin Diesel, man. What is this? Triple X in space or something? Yeah.
right.
I kind of get it, but I found it pretty enjoyable and not a great science fiction movie, but I thought it was pretty solid.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
here we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
this
this
was,
is
and I would have thought with the rabid fan base for this series. I didn't see the series until for the first time maybe 5, 6 years ago. I had never seen
oh,
it, and I
wow,
actually
okay.
finally saw it and thought, wow, yeah, that was solid.
It's
So I, wa-
great.
I was I
Yeah,
was surprised that this didn't do very well at all. And I
right?
didn't lie. I thought it was really really well done.
It's fantastic. Even if you're not a fan, like
Exactly.
I was a fan before, and I was one of those that was upset when they canceled the series. Um, and then when this was announced and funded and all that, and they were going to bring it out, I actually took my wife to it. We were just like newly married at that point. She knew nothing about the show, nothing about. I was just like, okay, I think this is going to be great. Let's watch it. And she loved it. And then, of course, then I took her to watch the show afterwards, and she loves the show. You know what I mean? So like that was it. Just was like it's great. Yeah, I don't know. I have no complaints. And everyone I mention it to, they're always like, "Oh, I didn't know they had a movie." Because sometimes they'll know about the show, or vice versa. They'll know about the movie but not the show, and it's like you got to watch both.
Children of Men.
Okay, yeah,
Another movie. I think for the most part it was very well reviewed. It's well regarded for the people who've seen it, but just
yeah.
so few people have actually seen it. I didn't like it as much as a lot of people did. I, I,
Hmm.
I felt it was a little one note, you know, throughout,
Yeah, yeah. I
but
get that.
still very very solid movie. And yeah, some of the cinematography is just
Oh yeah, and you could argue, just to play devil's advocate for a second, because I love this movie. It's delightfully disturbing. um, but in some ways, like I think it may have been a little better if they didn't do the one shot gimmick. I mean, it's cool, and I think it's great the way they did that, and it's expertly planned out. And I think Alfonso Cuarón is a great filmmaker, but there's a part of me that's like, I kind of wish it was a little bit more conventionally shot, because then I can think we can get a little bit more time, with the characters, a little bit more personal, rather than everything being so like, expertly choreographed.
yeah, very technically, yeah, very
Yeah,
very 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 astonishing. But you're right. It almost seems out of place because the story ultimately is very intimate, very
right.
know,
Yeah,
a very personal kind of journey, and then they go into these, yeah, admittedly, yeah, very spectacular single shots. I mean, the guy loves his single shots, I guess.
right. Oh, here we go.
And yeah, we've talked about this before. To
Talked
me,
about this. Yeah.
this got to be in the top 2 or 3 most criminally
Oh yeah. I would
underseen and
I would put
underrated.
this, yeah, up there with like Dark City, honestly, in
Yeah,
terms of just the level of, yeah, like you were saying, just underseen, like Dark City and The Fountain, like, come on.
and right, I mean, in Dark City, I don't quite understand the disconnect with the audience. I can understand some people just finding this a little too, maybe a little bit too cerebral, a little too hard to
Yeah,
kind of wrap your head around. So I understand that.
for
To me,
sure. Yeah.
that was the thing that I thought he did so well, is he got really I mean, classic science fiction, blow your brains out kind of idea.
Right.
And to my mind, he actually pulled it off.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, let's talk about the visuals too for a second. I mean, this movie, you feel like when you look at any still shot or even any shot from the trailer, and you're like, that is some magnificent CGI. But what you don't know is that this was all actually shot, and the way they got it was by like a process under a microscope, right? Like actually filming like these chemical reactions, and like it's insane. Like everything they did is an actual
Organic. Yeah, it's
yeah,
completely organic.
it's
Yeah,
like
I don't think that I don't think that they had to shoot stuff under a microscope. Very very close. But anyway, yeah. Every single thing was an an
right,
actual organic image that you're watching. Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah, tremendous film. Again, it's like we mentioned Dark City. If you didn't see the last live cast, go watch
yeah,
Dark City. You will not be sorry you did. And I would say the same with this movie. I can't imagine anybody thinking, you may not like it as much as we did, but I
right.
can't imagine you wouldn't go, man, I'm sure glad I watched that. Yeah.
Hugh Jackman too. I forgot he was in
Yeah,
this.
I know. I would put when I put these things together, I didn't do it like chronologically like I should have, I suppose. I just kind of threw them together, and Hugh Jackman just happened to pop up.
I mean,
in
he was
two.
having a fantastic couple of years, really, when you think about it. Like he was just at the top of his game.
Yeah, and this movie in some respects I like better than Inception, and
Oh yeah,
I like Inception
I
a whole lot.
yeah, I agree. There's something about this movie. I remember I was still in film school when this came out, and there was another movie. Do you remember? It was called The Illusionist. Came out about the same time.
Right, with
Edward
who
Norton.
Edward Norton.
Yeah, and I think who else was in it? I remember Edward Norton, but that's about it. Um, but all of my peers liked that movie better, and nobody was talking about how great The Prestige was. And I was like, God, I love The Prestige. It was so weird. Like I felt like an outlier, and I was like, God, this movie's so great. Like, why are people not? And it was just kind of a bizarre thing. But at that time, I don't know if that's still the case now, because I feel like I haven't heard anybody talking about The Illusionist. But I do hear people talk about The Prestige a lot.
This is straight up science fiction,
Oh yeah, yeah,
even though it's set in earlier times, and of course you can see right there. I swear I saw this in the theater, and the first few times that Nikola Tesla shows up, right?
yeah.
I didn't know it was David Bowie.
Really?
I don't know why. And then as soon as you saw the close up and the two colored
Yeah,
eyes,
the eyes.
holy shit, it's David Bowie. I mean, yeah, he wasn't, doesn't have a very large part screen time wise, but plays,
Yeah.
obviously an integral role in the character. And yeah, he just nailed it. He had the
Oh, he
accent.
nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
Love,
great.
love this movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay, here's an independent movie that I think if you're a science fiction fan, you've heard of this. But if you're not a science fiction fan, I think a lot of people haven't even heard of this movie. And it's not like a tremendous movie, but it's really solid for a small it's a small independent movie, but it doesn't feel like a small independent movie.
Oh, Duncan
Now, this
Jones.
one, I wasn't sure how many people have seen this, and I looked back. I look at the box office for a lot of these films. I think this is one of those. A lot of people have heard of it, but it didn't do very well, and I actually don't know that many people who have actually seen it. They've heard about it, but they haven't seen it.
What is so The Mist is that's Stephen King, right? I didn't realize it was a movie. I thought it was like a mini series or something.
They did they do a miniseries? Yeah, I think they did do a miniseries, which I didn't even bother to watch. I heard it was really bad, and it's ridiculous. They try to take something and stretch it out. This is
Oh, okay.
this is a novella by Stephen King. I think it's it's like 30, 40 pages. So
Oh, okay. So pretty
to
short. Okay.
me, a novella is like the perfect
That's
length for a
perfect.
movie.
Yeah,
You
for
try
sure.
adapting an entire novel, and you get into a lot of trouble. This
Right.
is like the perfect thing, and it differs in many ways from the novella, but it keeps the feeling of the isolation and stuff from the novella very well. I mean, I love Thomas Jane. I think he's so underrated, and
Yeah.
a lot of people have. I don't know if you heard about how this ends.
No. Is it I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want to know too much. Is it like
good.
okay.
Yeah, you should know. A lot of
I should-
people did not like the ending. I thought it was
Okay.
so smart. Okay, this is the sequel to Ghost in the Shell, the animated film. And this one, have you seen it?
No, not this one. I've only seen the first.
Yeah, it doesn't work as well as the original, and it's a little too mystical, esoteric, for I think for a lot of people's taste. But holy geez, is this movie gorgeous? I mean, I mean, it's just one of the prettiest, you know, animation you'll ever see.
Nice. This
It's
looks great right here. This shot.
yeah,
It
and
looks
it gets into some very, very heady stuff about what is consciousness, what does it mean to be, alive, and yeah,
yeah.
the whole thing. It maybe
Oh, that's
gets a little too, a little too heady, but
yeah.
still so worth seeing. And again, it's easily one of the most beautiful animated films I think that's ever been made. All right, this is another one that for the people who have seen it, I think this is a pretty divisive Terry Gilliam film because it's obviously most like Brazil.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of people that saw it maybe thought it was too much alike. I'm not sure, but I thought it was. It's not as good as Brazil, but I thought it was very worth seeing, and I'm surprised it didn't do better. And so I'd heard that it was just didn't really work, and tonally it shifts. It gets
Yeah.
real, like it really probing some very deep philosophical ideas, classic science fiction, and then it'll just go into weird Terry Gilliam strangeness time. So
Right.
I think for a lot of people, just tonally, it was a little bit too all over the place. But I thought it was solid. Not he didn't completely stick the landing, but very worth seeing. And again, if you're a Gillian fan, the visuals are, of course, just just fun for the eyeballs.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
this one, yeah, I can see where this one's a little polarizing. I don't think it's a really good movie, but I thought it was a very solid movie, and you know, communicated some interesting science fiction ideas in a unique way, and yeah, Jim Carrey was quite good in this. I thought it was way better in this than
Yeah.
what was the one where he's living in the dome?
Oh, Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Yeah, I thought the Truman Show was way overrated.
Oh yeah.
That didn't hit it for me. I mean,
Okay.
but
See, this one I love. Like I
yeah.
watch this one. I try and watch it at least once every year because it's so like
Oh, so it's a
it's
favorite.
so oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, yeah, I love it.
yeah.
But
It deserves to be. It deserves to be
yeah,
seen more widely. Yeah, for sure. Equilibrium.
yeah,
Fun, fun little kind of science fiction spy-ish, 007 kind of style
yeah.
movie. And yeah,
James
I
Bond
thought it was
meets the
really solid.
Matrix. Yeah, yeah. I'd call it James Bond meets the Matrix
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it really, it's cool. And it was, I think it was after, right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was definitely after.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm trying to remember how far after. Oh, 2002. So actually not too far after.
It was probably in the works
Yeah,
before it
for sure.
Matrix came out, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's with
I
Christian
don't
Bale too.
know.
Yeah.
I think this is just another one of those films that it was never really marketed very well, and I just people just haven't heard of this movie. It's not one
Right.
they've heard of it and they'll get around to watching it. They just flat out haven't heard of this one.
Just haven't heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid.
It's solid.
Christian,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Christian Bale's like always good.
Yeah, for sure. And then oh yeah, this has Tay Diggs too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch this.
Sam Rockwell. I
It's
love Sam Rockwell in this. Now, this one
wait,
from this is my impression when it came out. I
mhm.
hesitated to see it because I liked the book, but I wasn't crazy about it like some people are. It was fun. It was funny, but when I read science
Yeah.
fiction, I kind of want a more serious story. So I enjoyed the book okay. So when this came out, I thought, I don't know. And then I heard that a lot of people disliked it for whatever reason, that it didn't follow the book over here, and it didn't bring this character in. And how some people
Yeah.
that are really invested in the book, they just gets like, it's not like the book. So I don't remember enough about the details to comment on how closely it follows the book. But I just thought it was a fun little movie with some terrific performances.
Yeah. I saw this when it came out and I was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed, yeah.
I thought like my issue was it wasn't quite maybe it's just a really nitpicky thing, but it wasn't quite like British enough. It didn't quite have that kind of dry humor that I was it was a little bit trying to be a little bit more over the top.
Have you seen this one with
I
Denzel?
have heard of it. No, I haven't watched it. I actually didn't realize this was science fiction.
Yeah, very. I mean, it's a science fiction idea because it's sort of time travel.
Okay.
There's definitely a time travel element to it. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It comes across as pretty much a regular drama, but yeah, it's definitely science fiction ideas going on. And yeah, I thought this was quite well done. Keeps you guessing, and you're not sure where things are going, and it's a good it's a good thriller kind of movie. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely worth
Okay.
seeing. And I
Yeah.
don't know anybody who's seen it. This is
The Road. Okay.
this is not a this is not a pleasant movie to
It's not
watch.
pleasant. No.
But I think it deserved to be considered, and I thought it was very very well done. I'm not particularly excited about rewatching it because it's this is not giving anything away, but it's a pretty grim post-apocalyptic story. But it was very very well done, so I think it deserves to be on the list. The Machinist. Here's another Christian Bale movie.
Yeah. What is it with Christian Bale? So he's got like, what is it, the third on? Well, he's fourth now, right, on your list.
Yeah.
Is
Rain of Fire. That's it. Yeah.
Prestige too, right? Yeah. Jeez.
And this one, I think it seems to be more well known for how much Christian Bale, lost 60 pounds or whatever or whatever it was for the
Right.
role, and then I think he did the first or the second Batman like a year later, so he had to get not just normal, but he had to get buff,
Buffed up.
something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I mean, it's shocking when you see him without his shirt on. It's like you think it's an effect, but it's not. I mean, he might be like, sucking in his stomach even more, but I mean, the dude is skeletal in this. The movie is not it's not a great movie, but for a fairly low budget movie, it's pretty solid. I don't want to give anybody the impression that this is like one of his better movies, because it's not. But it definitely is worth seeing. And again, it's just the you just can't get past the transformation of his body is just astonishing. V for Vendetta.
Oh yeah.
The Wachowskis
Love this.
did good by this one, and I think we have both read the graphic novel.
Yeah, big fan. Yep.
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
it.
big fan of it, and yeah, I can't imagine it being much better done. It was
No,
solid through and
it
through.
was solid. Yeah.
Hugo Weaving.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I heard this correctly, but my understanding is that the original actor to play V was the guy just couldn't hang with acting with the mask on his face, and he just couldn't get it, so they had to replace him with Hugo Weaving. And now, right, it's like
you can't even imagine it without him.
Anybody else? Yeah, he was remarkable.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
very, very, very good.
Yep.
Pandorum. If you like horror in outer space movies, this is a good one.
Yeah, I actually did watch this one, and it was creepy as hell. No, I did. Yeah, I liked it. It was good
for a little scene thriller. It definitely punches up.
Yep.
Okay, so the 2010s. These are the ones that most people have. Most people, a lot of people have seen, even if you're not science fiction fans. Inception, The Martian, which I talked about briefly. I liked the novel less than I liked the movie. Arrival, Ex Machina, Gravity. There's Gravity. Interstellar, which a little bit of a misfire for me.
Yeah,
Blade Runner 2049, fantastic. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I was surprised at how solid that was. And I know you didn't like this, but I thought it deserved. I thought it was one of the better Star Trek movies, even though it had some issues. And then the Hunger Games, I also was not expecting to care for, and I thought it was pretty solid. So
yeah, Hunger Games is great.
I think most people are familiar with, and here's the ones that I think most people either haven't seen or got slammed for some reason. Ender's Game.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
This bombed hard.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it, because I really like the book.
Yeah.
And this,
I read the book too.
You can't do the book in a movie, in a 2-hour movie. You just you can't. So you have to like find a track. And I thought the movie did a good job of finding the main points without being able to get into all of the stuff that the book does. Her. It's a quiet little movie that came and went, and nobody saw.
Right.
Um,
This was another one I was interested in seeing, but for whatever reason, I didn't get around to it.
yeah. It's not, it's a pretty slow movie, but it has a charm to it, and Scarlett Johansson is the voice of the of the
Oh,
AI. You know,
okay.
it's pretty sweet. It's a sweet movie, um, but gets into obviously some more heady stuff about what it would be like to have a relationship with an artificial person.
Right.
But yeah, it's a good little movie. Deserves to be seen.
It's cool.
Edge of Tomorrow. Even though this is a Tom Cruise movie, I think this my strong impression. I again looked at the box office. Didn't do particularly well. It didn't bomb, but it didn't do well at all. And a lot of people I know have heard tell of this movie, but haven't actually seen it. And I thought it was really good. It kind of gets into the super action finale syndrome, a little bit, but it's a solid movie, very thoughtful, and a very good, uh, time travel ish type of concept. Very very well done.
Cool.
Here's another time
Predestination. This one
kind.
I haven't even heard of.
Yeah, I know a lot of people
Okay.
haven't. Smaller budget movie, still very. I think it swings way above its weight, and it's pretty solid. Yeah, Ethan Hawke is yeah, quite good. One of his better performances, in my opinion. It's a good one. Under the Skin. Now, I can understand why some people didn't particularly care for this movie because it's very strange. It's just a very odd movie, but it's worth seeing because of visually it's astounding in some cases.
Hmm.
What this guy, I can't remember the director's name. Do you remember the director of this?
No, this is another one that's on my list. It was recommended to me actually a few years ago, and I've been wanting to see it ever since. Let me see. Oh,
Yeah.
Jonathan Glazer. Why does
Yeah,
that sound familiar?
a small budget film, visually, it's amazing in spots.
Okay.
The story is it's kind of very detached, so I
Hmm.
can see where some people feel it just feels a little cold or something,
Yeah.
but and I had, some issues with certain aspects of it, but overall, this is definitely worth seeing because it's just very unique. Snowpiercer. Now, I think more people know the series that came out, and I don't know if that's still going or not.
No
But
idea.
not too many people I know have seen the movie upon which the series was based, and this was what's his name?
Uh,
Boom,
Bong Joon Ho.
Bong,
Yeah.
yeah, Bong Joon Ho. Yeah,
Yeah. I actually, this is one I haven't seen, but I've liked most of his other films.
but that's just my opinion. Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, yeah, you're in for a good one. This is a good one. Skyline. This is it's very very derivative. There's no denying, but I think it
Okay.
has its own vibe to it, and I was surprised at how much I liked it. For a clearly alien invasion movie you've seen a million times before, I thought they put enough of a unique spin on it that it's definitely worth seeing if you haven't seen it. And
Oh
this is
yeah,
a
yeah.
movie I told you about.
Here we go. Yeah, I gotta
For
watch it.
anybody, this is not a great movie, but it has enough unique qualities that I think it's definitely worth seeing. And if it clicks with you, I think you'll really enjoy it. Tonally, it has some issues. It kind of goes from it's kind of Lovecraftian more than it's science fiction, and it,
Mhm.
it does some of the Lovecraft stuff, you know, very well in my opinion. And it's it's got some pretty dark comedy in it, but then it's also got some very kind of personal, emotional things. So tonally, it can be a little all over the place at times, but I think it's well worth watching. And if you do ever want to see it, there's like 4 or 5 other movies called Residue. So you got to
Yeah,
look the 2017 movie Residue. Otherwise, you'll be lost. It's like, what? I thought Matt
residue.
Frewer was in this one.
Awesome. I
All
mean,
right.
anything with Matt Frewer. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's so good. Yeah, the comedy is, I think, really well done. Annihilation. This movie, I don't know why it didn't do better. I thought it was,
It's a mystery, man. Because I love this movie.
yeah.
Uh,
I read the book, and this is, this takes some big liberties with the book, but
mhm.
it does give the vibe. In the book is it's just, it's kind of, it's just got this quality of you're not sure what's going on. So
Mm,
I give this guy kudos just for attempting to put this to a cinematic story, because the book is very kind of mystical and magical, and kind of hard to pin down. And I
mhm.
thought he delivered a solid story and still gave you that sense of wonder and mystery. It's like, what is this place? What the
Right.
hell is going on in this place?
I'd say, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's definitely a movie that I think you need to see more than once
I
to get
agree.
the full, because the first time you're just kind of like, what the, I don't know
Yeah.
if you want me to swear on here, but what the hell did I just see? Right. And, but then the second time you're like, oh, I got to watch it again, because you're like, at the end, you're like, wow, I got to experience this again. And so on the second viewing, I'd say it gets even better, just because you're kind of, now you're like kind of absorbing everything and like, paying a little bit closer attention and stuff.
Ghost in the Shell. I'm
Yeah.
again, I'm puzzled. I'm
Polarizing.
I'm
It's
just puzzled,
polarizing.
right? Like a
Well, I
very
think it's the same
well-known.
thing. It's the same thing you were talking about with like Ender's Game and that thing. I think it's because the anime is so beloved, um, that it was just hard. And then I think, obviously with some of the whitewashing it may or may not have been doing. I'm kind of like, I don't want to get too into it if I get into trouble about talking about certain things, because I love Scarlett Johansson. But I never took the original anime as specifically being um any particular race, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but yeah. But anyway, so I didn't see that as an issue, but and then I honestly loved, like, visually and everything, story wise. I thought it was pretty much the same vibe, so
And I mean, visually, it was spectacular.
yeah.
Uh, One of the best depictions of cyberpunk. The whole site, I think they just
Right.
nailed the cyberpunk look and feel.
Yep.
Just nailed it. I'm surprised there weren't more curious people, and that would go out and see it and then tell their friends, "Hey, yeah, this is a solid movie." So it's
Right.
a mystery to me, because I think this bombed pretty hard.
Pretty
Uh,
hard. Yeah.
that came out and hasn't. I don't know that it's picked up a lot, since it's been on streaming platforms, but
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're in for a really solid science fiction movie, this is one of them. Here's one. I can understand how this movie's a little divisive for people because the last act does go a little off the rails. But I just thought this was such a compelling story, even though it gets a little nutty towards the end. And the visual storytelling in this is I think is just fantastic. I'm surprised this one it was not well reviewed or seen. Not well watched,
Yeah.
well reviewed. I don't get it.
I remember hearing about it and I was interested, but then yeah, didn't see it for whatever reason.
This movie's got more WTF moments in it than about any movie I can think that I've seen in a long time. Because there's several times throughout the film you're going, what the fuck? What the hell's going on here? So in a
Right.
way, this is like Alfred Hitchcock meets you know
Okay.
it's definitely worth seeing, even if the ending is a bit fumbled. Definitely worth
Mhm.
seeing. And this is the last one for the 2010s. This is Aniara. It's a Dutch. I think it was like actually a Dutch Swedish production.
Okay.
So if you don't like reading subtitles, you're not going to have a good time. But I thought it was pretty solid, and this doesn't give anything away. These people are on essentially turns out to be a generational, ship. They're
Yeah.
starting off in one destination. This doesn't spoil anything. Something happens, and then they're stuck until they can reach a habitable planet. So it's going to be generations. And I thought they handled the theme really well. Very very interesting. It's a little it gets a little graphic sexually. you know, some of the scenes are a little bit. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Those Europeans.
Right.
So it could be a little shocking, here and there, but overall, I thought it was really really solid. I've only seen it once, and it kind of stuck with me. I thought they handled a lot of those things very 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 well. Definitely worth watching.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
any you can think of before we wrap up?
Yeah, there was one. I don't know if we talked about this before, but Looper. By
Looper.
yeah,
I
what's his
didn't love
name?
it. I didn't
Ryan
love it.
Johnson. Yeah. I thought that was a fairly decent. I'm not a huge, like time travel fan, but I thought it was pretty well done. I saw that one in theaters too, so that one was pretty fun.
Appreciate you being on, man.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
be back again when we do some more science fiction talk.
Heck yeah. All right, man.
See ya.
Catch you later.